Everybody thinks Friday the 13th started it all, but what if I told you the real slasher game began in Italy? Let's dig in. Both films drip with bloody creativity, but a bay of blood sliced onto screens 9 years earlier, laying the gory groundwork for Jason's rampage. Friday 2 cranked up the tension with an iconic killer, but A Bay of Blood's inventive deaths changed horror forever. So, which one haunts your nightmares? Let us know.
Hello?
On a June night in 1980, Friday the 13th, 12 of her friends were murdered. Why should Friday the 13th, 1981 be any different? Friday the 13th, Part 2. The body count continues. 14.
All doomed. You're all doomed.
15.
God.
16.
Help!
17. 18. 19. 20. 21. 22. 23.
Sandra? Jeff?
The day you count on for terror is not over. Friday the 13th, Part 2. 2.
And with that, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. I am Chris C. of Black Glove Reviews. I am joined, as always, by my man Darren from Subjective Perspective Collectiv. Darren, how are you doing tonight?
Not too bad, not too bad. I always say it like, just braving the heat in the UK at the moment. But we're on a fourth heat wave, which is kind of crazy for us. But no, looking forward to watching these two. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. This is All the Colors Of. This is the first episode in our ongoing series. This is a passion project of mine and Darren's as well. A different type of versus stream. Now, it's not what we like more than the other. What versus this, what versus that. So what this is basically all the colors of one film in particular, which is probably the Godfather of slasher films. From really the Godfather of Giallo, Mario Bava, which is, of course, Twitch of the Death Nerve, which is the coolest name for a film ever, also called A Bay of Blood, done in 1971. What a trip this is. We go to 10 years later, part of my all-time favorite franchise, and that would be Friday the 13th, Part 2, The Body Count Continues. Of course, I got my steelbook here as well. I have the box set from Scream Factory. I got the original box set that Paramount released from Crystal Lake to Manhattan, which I'll never give that set up for all that I'm worth. First off, I've always been a fan of Friday the 13th. It's my all-time favorite horror franchise. Really, nothing comes close to it. We'll talk more about that in future streams. Me and Darren have been talking about that too. We can't wait to dive into that franchise in general. But I did not know about this film until a few years ago. A Bay of Blood, of course, by the late, great Mario Bava. A lot of people say this is his best film. This is a personal favorite of his. I remember him mentioning that. Considering the people that were involved in the making of this film to begin with anyway. We'll dive into that as well. And of course, Friday the 13th, Part 2. It's a lot of people's favorite in the franchise, to tell you the truth. A lot of people are, real fans of this because it introduced us to the character of Jason Voorhees. It's a funny thing about horror sequels. It seems like the director and the producer or the writer just seem to distance themselves from it. Wes Craven with Freddy's Revenge, same thing. He didn't want nothing to do with the film for the most part. Sean Cunningham and Victor Miller didn't want nothing to do with this either because they thought it was a dumb idea to bring, character that was already dead. Why are you bringing him back and stuff like that as well? There's original ideas. We'll talk about that too, of what this was originally going to be, how the series was originally going to be. But it's these are two bangers right here, two of my personal favorites, to tell you the truth. One has grown on me a bit more than you might think, so get prepared for that. We're going to go through both of these films, and then we're going to give our scores on the films. And like I say, it's not really a regular versus stream where we don't like more one than the other. It's just what makes these films so similar. Every Giallo practically made is a proto slasher, in my opinion. You have a black gloved killer or a gloved killer. You don't see who's wearing a mask, hence blood black lace, and going around, and there's a body count, and you can't trust anybody, and there's lying and deceit going around. And you go onto the 80s, and you have films like, even before that, in the 70s, films like Halloween, which I think takes heavily from A Bay of Blood as well, and then you just go on from there, Black Christmas and what have you.
Yeah, I kind of, although I am going to put it out there, I love these two films. There's a comment by Lorne in the chat, which I kind of agree with, because I was like that for a long time. But I will say the Bay of Blood has gone up for me quite a bit, actually, this time round. I would have been 10 years ago, I would have been all day long Friday 2 over Bay of Blood. Yeah. But now it's close. But we'll come into that with ratings and stuff. But it is close now.
It is quite surprising. It's always good revisiting these films and stuff like that. It's a great idea and just a different perspective on why we love these films so much. So we're just going to get right into it with these two awesome films. Well, first off, It is Wednesday the 13th, and oh, by the way, we got a 15-minute mini film called Sweet Revenge, which was produced by the Jason Universe Network. So we got a little taste of what that character is about and stuff like that. I thought it was okay. I thought it was actually fun, to tell you the truth. I know a lot of people have a problem with the mask that he has and stuff like that. There's some fun kills in that. I suggest anybody just watch it like once. You can see this on a YouTube channel called Alter too. You think it looks to be type of that thing. I know these people wanted to put that out to see what the overall response would be. I could do without the shilling of Angry Orchard, to tell you the truth, but you know, it is what it is with that. But there's some creative kills in that one, so I had fun with it. So my score for that one, real quick, yeah, it's like a mid 5 out of 10, to tell you the truth. So
I've seen all the reviews coming in by all the top kind of YouTube channels, but I've not checked it out yet.
Yeah,
I probably will later on tonight if I get time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll just get right into this. And that, of course, is A Bay of Blood, aka Twitch of the Death Nerve, and it has a bunch of other names too. Darren will get to that. 1971, directed by Mario Bava, of course. Writers Giuseppe Zaccarella, I believe, and Filippo Ottoni. Stars Claudine Auger as Renetta. The late great Luigi Pistilli as Alberto. I watched The Good and the Bad and the Ugly for the first time ever. A few nights ago, and he's really dark in that film, but he plays a priest or a monk in that one too, and stuff like that too. You see those blue eyes for him. May long rest in peace. We have some cursed actors in here. Claudio Camasso as Simone, Anna Maria as Anna, and Leopoldo Chiesti as Paolo. We also have like I say, it's one of Mario Bava's personal favorite films. Really, he seemed to have fun with this one too. Of course, he's a cinematographer originally. That's how he got into doing these films. Of course, being on Ricardo Freda, doing some films for him too. So just rinses and repeats and stuff like that. One big name here for the special effects, Carlo Rambaldi. Who is Carlo Rambaldi? Well, let's start here. He was part of E.T., he was part of Alien, and he was also, and this is very interesting, he was part of King Kong 1976, because they asked Bava to do it. His son wanted to do it. His assistant wanted to do it. Because he loved Rome so much, he didn't want to go to the States, to L.A. and just do it. Man, what could have been with that? That'd be I think it'd be a different type of film. But your thoughts on A Bay of Blood, a.k.a. Twitch of the Death Nerve there, Darren?
Right, so talking about Carlo Rambaldi, I don't think we would have maybe got Tom Savini effects the way, he did
yes.
in the early 80s if it was for this guy. So I can't give him credit for that. Yeah. And in terms of the cast as well, Claudine Auger, she was a former Miss France. I think one of her best roles, or one I like her in, is Black Belly of Tarantula. So,
okay.
And I know that's coming soon, so
yes.
Look out for that. Pistilli's just amazing in everything. One of the best bad guys actors you'll kind of see. I do want to mention Nicoletta Elmi. She plays the daughter in this, and she was in Who Saw Her Die, Deep Red, and Footprints on the Moon.
Yeah, that is her. Yeah, the two kids.
Yeah, with the
but
red.
They leave in the trailer.
Oh God, yeah.
Mommy and Daddy will be back. Don't worry.
Well, yeah, it is kind of. It's Bava at his best. I think the ending is kind of he did throw in these kind of humor.
He did, yeah.
But Laura Betty as well, Hatchet for the Honeymoon. She's a great, all-time Italian kind of actress.
Yeah.
But yeah, just getting into the first time I saw this was probably about fairly recent, really, if you think about it, 15 years. I remember getting the old DVD, and it was cut in the UK, and I held
Video
off
Nasty.
That.
Yeah, it's one of the first Video Nasties.
I just held off watching that DVD, and then when obviously it came out uncut, or I could import it, then I did that. And I was never a massive fan of this film, but now over time, it just seems to get better with each viewing. It is kind of slow at times, I will say that. And I mean, Friday the 13th Part 2, you've got something happening all the time. You've got kills every so many minutes and all that. So it is kind of hard to talk about the two in that regard. But no, this one, I think is just going up and up for me. It's never going to be in my top 5 kind of Bava films, I don't think, ever. You know, you've got bloody Black Sunday, which is pretty hard to beat. Girl Who Knew Too Much, Blood and Black Lace.
Yeah.
But yeah, this would be in my top 10.
Sin, The Devil, Kill Baby
Sure.
Kill, and stuff like that. What
Yeah,
a
yeah.
career.
But you got to mention the music as well. Stelvio Cipriani. I think it's such an iconic score too. Like when you was playing that trailer as we come in on the intro. Yeah, like the jazzy type. You know, he was into all the jazzy.
He did that in Blood and Black Lace. He has those certain scenes and stuff like that too. It just, when they introduce characters, it just works, you know, in films like this. It's a change for him. Really with films like this, it's different from specifically The Kills, man. This is 71. We got to remember the decade we're going into here. So it's very grindhouse-like of a film, as Joe Dante has famously mentioned.
Well, it's kind of I know it's been mentioned, it's the first body count slasher, really. I know you've got body count films before this, like Blood and Black Lace and that, but in terms of like that kind of, you know, you've got
creativity.
You've got bodies hanging down and all that, you know, which kind of the Friday the 13th and all the slasher films of the 80s.
Yes, absolutely. It did.
Yeah. So it's really important in that regard. And we will mention the two, you know, the same kind of death scenes. Literally, there's 3 or 4 in here that's, you know, and that's not by accident.
No, not at all.
Sean C. Cunningham, his production company, I believe, brought out this film back in the early 70s, you know, when he was kind of doing Last House on the Left and all that. So, yeah, he knew about this film. So, you know, if you see interviews with him and he says, you know, no, we weren't really ripping off Bay of Blood, it's bullshit. It's complete bullshit.
Sean Cunningham, Steve Miner, Wes Craven. Damn, all the people that came from that film is insane when you think about it. Then you didn't know what would eventually happen. Those two just separate and we get what we get in that awesome time of the 80s. But yeah, to your point, the actor, I believe, who played Simone, I believe it is, Claudio, I believe that is, Claudio Camaso. An interesting, tragic story about him. Obviously, he was another one like Pastilli who committed suicide. He was accused of murdering somebody in real life, and that caused to his suicide, which is, man, I tell you, boy, it's like I say, this genre is a different type of monster. It you know, like I said, and it seems like almost everything is a cursed film considering who you see acted in here. He plays a great part in here too. His character has a sweater in here. Pamela Voorhees has a sweater. Like, it's almost tit for tat, which is insane. We'll definitely talk about that.
It's not just like the death scenes as well. There's other similarities. Just going, Lauren's point on there, like, he mentions that Cunningham had nothing to do with Hallmark yet. So
Hallmark. Yeah, that's what they called it. Yeah, which is very interesting.
But like Bay does have pacing issues, like he says, and that's the first thing that put kind of, you know, when I first saw this, kind of put me off a little bit. But I mean, in terms of this film, there was nothing that come like this anytime before as well. So Blood and Black Lace, even though it's like a body count kind of film, it's not, I guess you could say it's gruesome, but it's more in terms of like a Dario Argento film where the violence is kind of beautiful. Whereas this one is just, the first one I can remember is just grimy, you know, you've got the bloody slit throats and the hatchets and all that. And I think this is kind of the first of the
hook blade or the hook knife, the hook blade that's been used before, which is very interesting. So definitely with that one as well.
But I mean, we could go into it. I think with this one of the pluses with this is the atmosphere.
Yes.
I think superb. You've got the stormy kind of, which again, you know, Friday the 13th, 1 and 2, both kind of paints the stormy kind. I know it was going on years before, but that's one of the other coincidences as well.
But, he was the one also who was able to do light at night where anybody else with the earlier slashers, B-film slashers, you can say after this, couldn't do for some reason.
Well, he was a cinematographer.
Crazy for me to think.
He actually did the cinematography on this film as well.
Yeah.
I believe he done everything. It's like a one-man show type thing.
Yeah.
But you get that great opening in this with the Countess. And you see this this old Countess. She's in a wheelchair. And then straight away off the bat, she kind of gets hung. I think we find out at first we think it's her husband's going to be the killer throughout the film, but then an unseen assailant kills him too.
Yeah, kills him.
That's how the start of the film begins.
Stabs him multiple times in the back, and then he falls. It's a good scene because he falls like right underneath her, as she's hanging there and stuff like that. The thing is, the body is moved when the camera pans out. You kind of just notice that, but that's still iconic Bava type stuff as well that you'd see in earlier films before that too. The way the cameras are, everything's shot. When the husband's finding out somebody's here, he walks down that corridor, and you see that it almost widens up a bit, or it follows him down there. That's very good camera cinema work.
I think the one thing with this film I will say as well that goes against it a little bit is halfway through or what have you, it does get a bit convoluted, the plot. You've got all these different characters coming into it and kind of thing. Now I can deal with that a little bit better than I did when I first saw it. But yeah, I mean, that's just almost like an Argento way of starting a film with a big set piece, murder set piece. We get to see a lot of the characters in the film. You got Franco Ventura and his secretary Laura. They're having like this affair.
Yeah, you find out stuff about them later.
Yeah, he's like an architect, I think, and he's trying to buy the bay. And all this is centered on this beautiful bay. You've got the water, the mansion, the villa.
Yeah.
I need to see that one, Lorne. 33. I really need to see that one.
I've heard of Night of Terror before. Does Criterion have that one or no?
I'm
it
not
may
sure.
Be streaming somewhere. I can find it.
Yeah, you have to let us know, Lorne, if that's out on Blu-ray or DVD or anything. The Blood trilogy, H.G. Lewis. I mean, yeah, you've got to say that was probably first, actually.
I totally agree. I love Blood Feast. I love Blood Feast. Yeah, Blood Feast is definitely a heavy slasher and the gore and stuff like that too. And I do like that film for what it is. It's totally different than anything I've ever seen, definitely.
William Castle Homicidal, I saw that like within the last couple of years as well. Definitely the black and white. And the twist to Homicidal as well is kind of like, I think it will get you, like anyone who watches that, it's kind of freaky, the twist of that film. But
nice.
Yeah, going on to this, you've got all these characters. You've got Simon Falsati. He's like a loner. He lives in the shack by the bay, and he's fishing, and and he's like octopus. He's kind of fishing for, and you've got the mad kind of couple there, and you've got the one guy, and he's into like all the insects.
The insects. That's Paulo.
Yeah,
that's Mr. That's Paulo, who's into that. Interesting conversation with him too, because that's a live octopus that he has, and he's playing around with it. Usually. Instead, the actor, he didn't want to kill the animal. He didn't want to do that, so he tossed it back in there. One of the producers explained how you're supposed to do that. You're literally supposed to bite on his head, literally supposed to bite on that sucker's head and stuff like that to like kill it. But no, he didn't want to do that. So that's still alive when he tosses it in. I thought maybe it was like just like a toy practical effect type of thing. No, that was an actual octopus that he's tossing around, and then he just tosses back in the bay.
Oh, you could tell that's real, yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got Renata and Alberto, and they're at the bay, and they're like kind of spying on everyone. You don't know why all these different characters. There's a lot of greed involved with the.
This definitely has Giallo elements to it, like a lot of stuff, a lot of Hitchcock elements going on here too.
Yeah.
Because this is a very fast-paced film, too. This isn't slow whatsoever. Usually, Bava's films never were. Yeah.
I think it's slow, I do, personally. I think it's like... it is... You do get kind of bit of an action, especially when the kids come into it a little bit later on. You've got the miniature kind of Friday the 13th 20-minute sequence. But
with that
yeah,
like that dune buggy type car, which is really cool. Specifically, the ending sequence when they just show that car. They just zoom into the vehicle and all this other stuff too. Yeah, the playful young people out there having like a good time finding this what they think is an abandoned like house type place. This was filmed on private property, by the way. Fogliano, Latina Lazio, Italy, I guess it is, and that was filmed like on say private property, like by that bay, by that lake. You can say.
Oh yeah. So you got the mad old couple, like you say, the guy into the insects, his wife, like Anna, and
tarot cards.
Tarot card. Yeah, she sees the sickle of death in one of her tarot cards. Brilliant actress, Laura Betty. I know I mentioned her earlier, just superb. But then you've got the kids, and it does remind me a lot of $5 for an August Moon. I don't know why. I think it's because of the water set in. And it does, like I say, it turns into like this miniature kind of 25-minute slasher film. I don't know if it does. I don't know if it really truly fits in the film. Really, sometimes I watch it.
It's there. This would be a totally different film if you took that sequence of kills out of here. Like if you took all that out, it would be basically the same film. Weirdly enough to say, it's a trip.
Oh yeah, and I mean, you've got Friday the 13th Part 2, which we're going to mention, right? So you've got the German girl wants to go skinny dipping in this, which is mirrored in Friday the 13th Part 2. That's one of the early ones. But her kind of death scene is superb.
Yeah, her boyfriend was originally like, I'm guessing that's like, she's getting all topless and stuff like that, and he doesn't want to go. So he goes back and starts kind of like dancing and stuff like that. And his buddy and stuff like that, with that couple and stuff like that, he says, you just find her, dude, just get away from us and blah, 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 and all this other stuff too. He just stays while they go make love in one of the bedrooms.
Right. And he wants, like you say, he wants that one guy with his other girlfriend or
right, exactly.
He wants their privacy. But she goes off then, she goes skinny dipping, completely full on naked.
Yeah.
And she comes across this body in the bay. Which obviously goes back to the opening of the film.
It's a great sequence of the hand coming up and touching her. Like you see the hand like going, that's very gothic-like of Bava. This is a gothic film as well. Like it has that gothic element a little bit in there too. And you just see the hand go up and freaks her out. She gets out, then she sees something. And that's from a distance too, right? You see that. So she sees somebody. That's when she starts running.
I mean, that's a great shot as well with her running back. Her actual death scene as well with like this sickle. Again, mirror images Friday the 13th Part 2.
She's running.
The guy with the wheelchair.
She's running and the thing comes up there. Yeah, exactly. Comes up there, basically hooks her, turns her around, and that's good. Like I say, practical effects, man, where you see it slid right here, dude. That's the first time you see that. I think
it's almost
in a Bava film like that. This is very violent. This is a violent film. Very... I don't want to say hateful wise, but it's pretty hateful of a thing. That's maybe why I love that sequence so much and stuff. And they're experimenting with this too. They're experimenting with too, because like I say, you have the tropey thing because, she falls and stuff like that. She closes her eyes for a second and they linger on there for a minute like that. And I think Bava did that for a reason. He's like, good, I want her to learn. I want these actors and actresses to learn how to do this correctly and stuff like that. And good for him. He's one of the better Italian directors out there and stuff like that. He stayed away from actors and actresses for the most part. He didn't want to deal with their bullshit. That's his words. He's like going, you know what?
Right.
I'm just friendly to them. I'll let them do their things because they're different type of cat. They're like totally separate from the spectrum. But yeah, that's a great one where she's just dead out there. And that one's when it focuses on the house. I always like that. It goes from one to the other.
Yeah. I definitely think it's the strongest probably scene in the film.
Oh yeah,
in terms of we do get like a lot of like hatchets to the head and kind of slit throats and what have you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so you've got her like her boyfriend in this as well, a guy called Bobby. He gets a machete to the head.
Right, he's like putting fire in the fireplace and he hears something. I don't think there's a knock on the door, but he hears something. He goes out there, and what a scene like that. You see it, whack, just like that, and he falls back, and that's very good. Just falls back like that. Just takes
think,
it.
Like Marcy in Friday the 13th Part 1 is exactly the same scene. So
Oh,
like,
with the axe, yeah, in the
Yeah.
in the bathroom there, yeah.
oh yeah, like I said, that's no coincidence. But up until this point, then you've got the couple. Obviously, another big scene. I guess
Oh,
this would
that
be
is
people's favorite scene.
huge. That
Yeah.
one's done a little better than part 2. Just because
I
you
think so.
see the spear from that side. Now that's used later on in part 2, with a certain scene with the camera, and then you see it go down. They're all making love like hardcore wise and stuff like that, and they fidget afterwards too, where it's just like whack, exactly right underneath on the floor. You see that, and you're like, and then they
that's
start
gonna be
moving a
the
bit,
scene.
and then that's it. You see him like crunching, like ripping up like the mattress, and I'm like, that's
Right.
prime
Yeah.
kill right there.
I mean, if anyone talks about this film, that's the scene that people will most mention.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Friday the 13th, it's literally shot for shot part 2. It's insane. This is where the plot for me does get convoluted with all these different characters.
Yeah.
Don't kind of know what's going on. Everyone wants a bit of this, like the bay, like in terms of property and
Yeah, because it's a
real estate.
property
Yeah.
thing. That's what
The guy wants to do it up. He
but
wants
to
to
the
like,
heiress for initially was to sell that property. That's what the main dude was talking about at the start with his mistress, basically his girlfriend. And then it cuts it. It's very a la Psycho like too, from Alfred Hitchcock, where you see like because he's already driving up there and what have you and stuff like that, and then the couple is there, so like you say, a lot of different stories going on at the same time, so sometimes they kind of intersect with each other, not the correct way.
it is kind, yeah. And I mean, with all this going on, you've got people trying to double cross each other, and it does. Honestly, I would say that's the only thing I don't really like about this film. Claudine Aga is absolutely stunning, I will say.
Yeah, she's a model, very pretty. Yeah, beautiful lady.
So you got Renata and Albert. They go and find Simon, and then they find the dead body, Simon's father's dead body in the boat. And he's kind of innocent. He just said, "Well, I just..."
Yeah, it's the scene that they changed up here, which I thought this is good artwork too, where they put woman instead with the sunglasses on in the boat.
Yeah,
and all this other stuff too. Yeah, because they confront him and see him in there and stuff like that because he's in the boat and stuff like that too. Pastilli's character,
blood bath as well. It was cool.
Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah, Pastilli's character is the submissive one to his wife, right? She's the smart one here. She's the one that's like going, "Don't be stupid. Just do what I tell you to do." Wise,
She is definitely the evil one, which is kind of cast usually against Pastilli because he's usually that one.
Yeah, he's usually that one. Oh yeah, he's a prick.
You got Franco Ventura. He's like this architect, like I said earlier, and he really wants to get the deeds to this bay, and he wants to like build kind of high-rise apartments on there and make as much money as possible. The old countess didn't want that before she died. She even told him, I think there's a flashback a bit later on.
Yeah, there's a flashback where, because there's a flashback where she steals the documents that are behind her. And, she's sitting on the desk and she takes that and stuff like that. When Countess basically says, "Yeah, my husband's a piece of shit," and stuff like that too. We've fallen out of love with each other, all this blah, blah, blah stuff. That's when they hatch out a plan. We'll get to that in a minute.
So you got Renata then. She finds all the 4 dead bodies in the house, in Franco Ventura's house. And
all lined up.
Yeah,
all lined up. How about that?
He's with an axe, isn't he? He's got like an axe. But she kind of gets the better of him. She stabs him.
Yeah, she stabs him in the leg. It looks like, through the window, which is a good one right there because she's holding the door and she's reaching for that, and then she does that and stuff like that. Yeah,
because we're thinking he's dead, and then he comes back to life a few times, as they all do.
Which is weird. Because I'm guessing you can say, like I say, the practical effects, you see the leg and stuff like that. So you can say, because he does die later, or it looks like to me, I think he passes out. I don't think he dies. Because I'm thinking, he couldn't really bleed out. Maybe he went into shock, but, we don't kind of get to that.
Yeah. I mean, you've got different kills. Then you got Paolo gets strangled by Alberto. So you've got the subplot as well with the secretary.
That's a great scene. That's when he basically found out it's like, because he knew what she was doing, because it was all a plot by them to get the property, where she was going to seduce her husband, you know, and say, yeah, just kill her for me and stuff like that too, and all this other stuff too. It goes back to that. That's a good kill scene too, because he chokes her. Boy, her eyes are all wide open and all that stuff too. Boy, she's gone. I'm like, this is, like I said, we'll get to that in a minute, man. That's what I love these films so much. You're like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah. So you've got the backstory is with the secretary in it. She's kind of is just girlfriend, I guess, or a bit on the side or what have you.
Yeah, a bit on the side.
But she comes back into the plot as well. So Anna finds Ventura after he's been stabbed, which is Laura Betty's character. And then she gets her head chopped off, which is kind of a crazy scene.
Yeah, she leans over and she gets her head chopped off from the other side, but that was for the whole shock value type of thing. You see the axe or the hatchet just go down. Whack.
Again, the end of Friday the 13th Part 1, you know, you've got the decapitation scene. So it's all there if you look, man.
Yeah, exactly.
There's more in these. It's more in this than I thought. You know, Friday the 13th, not just copied like 3 or 4 things, there's more. There's kind of like
absolutely. Imitation is the greatest form of flattery, most cases. Yeah. So,
and I mean, 13 kills in this film as well is kind of iconic.
Yeah.
I don't know how far you want to go. I don't know if you want.
Well, that was the thing too. By the way, is the suicide note that was written.
Yeah,
takes place on February the 13th, and I'm like,
right,
come on.
And it's clever the way they did that as well, because they're going to wait for the next February the 13th to plant this suicide note.
Yeah, to plant the suicide note. I'm like, you can't do this any better. That's why I love these films so much. It's like you'd almost chuckle at it, because I know what you don't know.
And all they're interested in is Simon, who's the illegitimate son of the Countess's husband.
Yes, the bastard.
Everything's going to be left to him. You know, and then you've got, like you say, I mean, the middle part of this, I'm not a massive fan after when we get to all the ins and outs of, you know, I can see how people would say it's slow. It does kind of like speed up towards the end a little bit when, you know, more kills. And then we start to realize what's been going on. And
because Paulo goes through that flashback of everything that happens and stuff like that too, where he's walking through, it's like this corridor type of a cabin type place or something like that as well, like a gazebo, and you know, where you find out, like I said, they all hatched this plan together, her, him, and him as well, all hatched this plan and all the stuff without him knowing kind of what happened, until he figured it out. What happened is like going, yeah, you killed my mother, or you're responsible for my mother's death and all this other stuff as well. You know, basically, you bitch, you seduced my dad. Yeah, you seduced my dad.
He realized
made him kill her, you know, and all this other stuff too. So she got her just desserts, in my opinion. He turns after you find out all this stuff is happening, and Luigi Pistilli spears him right to the wall. That's very good. That's very slasher-like, you know.
I mean, Simon realizes he's been stitched up by Ventura, and then you get that spear kill, which is great.
Yeah.
But you know, again, there's a scene in this that completely was ripped off as well in Torso. So you get a scene where Ventura is still alive. Yeah. But you know the end of Torso where you get there's a big fight at the end of Torso.
Yeah, right by the cliff.
And then we don't know who's going to win the fight. And then all you see is this black silhouette of a guy walking. We're thinking, who the hell is it? Is it?
They did that. They did that in The Bird with the Crystal Plumage too. When he goes up to there and it's like all dark in there.
Yeah.
And then I think she's in there, or he's trying to find her. A lot of trippy stuff in there. So yeah, we got a template here.
They do that in this as well, where we don't realize, you know, who survived out of this fight, and then we see the black silhouette, like you say, and a man walking towards Renata.
Yeah.
And then the ending is just, I love it personally. I know a lot of people, I've read reviews and shit.
They say we guys got to wait till stuff dies down, and then it's basically ours. We own the bay. You know, we have everything. They got all the documents and all this other stuff too. Just go and take it from there, Darren. Yeah, take it from there.
Want to give away
really
the
funny.
ending? Might as well, I suppose. It's been 50 years, a minute.
Yeah.
So, they think now at this point, Renato and Alberto think they've literally got control of the bay. Everyone's killed. They're going to kind of, leave no traces, what have you. And then, ironically, they go back to where they're staying with their children, and their children thinking they've got a toy gun.
Mommy, daddy, bang, bang. Yeah, because that wouldn't happen. That gun would knock that kid on his ass. Like, it blow out his shoulder, everything, but it's still good. The way they fall is really funny because they're hugging each other, and all of a sudden you get the bang, bang.
And the way the kids then, they just go off playing, then they're like, oh, they're pretty good at playing dead. And they run off into,
let's go play at the bay. Yeah. Like you mentioned the girl that was in Who Saw Her Die. And I'm like, I've seen her somewhere before. I've seen her somewhere before. I almost thought she was in Lucio Fulci's The Beyond as the girl, like right after.
No, I know the one she looks similar, the one with the red hair. Yeah. But she's in Deep Red. She kills a lizard in Deep Red with the
pink. That's her. That's right. That's her. Cool. Yeah.
I just look in now. Lawrence just put another comment on that if you want to.
Yeah. I put it up here like real quick, but we'll get to that right now. Yeah, one of the reasons that Bay's plot is so alien to most audiences outside Italy is that it was very intentionally a mirror to Italian soap operas of the 60s. Very true. No, it's very true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have an introduction to the characters. It's like it's a whodunit type of a thing. People are conniving, people are cheating on each other, all this other stuff too. So I love the ending a lot too. Yeah, it's definitely it's an all timer.
It's Bava having a joke with the audience as well, which he did in Black Sabbath.
I think that's why he loves the film. That's why I think he loved the film so much, because I think he honestly had a great time with this, and you had great people that were a part of the film too. So it's very good. It's just a shame that we lost some of these actors too soon.
Well, yeah. I mean, Black Sabbath, when we get the end shot with Boris Karloff riding the fake horse.
Oh yeah.
So he's with Bava, he's used to it, and we get the comedy elements in the one kind of version of The Girl Who Knew Too Much.
Right, the international cut wise and stuff like that. Two different version.
But
Night of okay, yeah, there you go. What's going on, Russ? It's great to see you. That's Mr. Russell Coyer. It's great to see you back, my man. Yeah, Night of Terror, Bela Lugosi. That's correct. That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah,
that's the one Lawrence on about, is it?
Yeah, Bela Lugosi. Okay. Yes. Oh yeah, he did some great stuff. Like towards the end, kind of different stuff, and stuff like that too. So that's right. I think that one of the horror docs, I think maybe mentioned that film wise. So yeah, good deal.
Okay. So the original story to this came from the two script writers, Franco Barberi and Dardano Sacchetti, who's a big writer for.
Yeah, Dardano Sacchetti is very good.
Yeah. Diro De Laurentiis was going to produce this film, but he backed out at the last minute.
Yeah, because he produced King Kong in '76, so that was a huge. He was, Diro De Laurentiis asked, he wanted Bava to do it and stuff like that. Yeah, Bava refused. So that's crazy.
The thing with this, though, that people don't realize, so this was shot between January and February of '71. The film was released with a VM-18 rating in August, to little success, grossing just 88 million lira. And it even lost out to Delirium 1972 in the ratings, which, I like Delirium, but I wouldn't say is a better film than this. So this was a real, just completely bombed almost, which is crazy.
It did.
When you think about it.
A lot of people, his friends, his producers that were under him basically said it. He wasn't big in Italy. He was big here in the States. Like Blood and Black Lace is my all-time favorite Giallo. I think the film's a masterpiece. I think it's really untouchable. I mean, like I say, Deep Red is like a far second. I mean, it just is to me. It did great here. It didn't do good in Italy at all. You know what I mean? It just didn't click for some reason.
I was just about to come on to that. So the following year, it was released as Reazioni e Catia, aka Chain Reaction.
Yeah, Chain Reaction.
It did better overseas with the title Carnage, Twist of the Death Nerve, and A Bay of Blood. And it was also called Last House on the Left too.
Two,
Obviously,
yes.
because of
I
the
forgot to mention that.
connection. Yeah, the connection with Cunningham. But yeah, I mean, to me, like ratings wise, this is a solid kind of 8, maybe an 8.5. And when I first saw this, again, I've said it before with certain other films, it would have been like a 6.5. But it kind of creeps up. I don't think it's ever going to get higher than that.
That's
yeah.
crazy, because here's the surprise here. So you and I, we're on point, Darren. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. Tell you, I'm kind of in shock there. This film has grown on me a lot. I think I originally gave it a 7 out of 10, but since it's Bava and watching what I've watched from him previously and stuff like that too, this is a Godfather slasher film. I mean, there's a few Godfather slasher films, to the point of what Lauren has mentioned, of what Russ has mentioned too, and stuff like that. Those classic films, Eyes Without a Face. I mean, there's a lot, Spiral Staircase, stuff like that too. But yeah, it's a solid 8.5 out of 10. I was almost thinking about doing a 9. I'm like, because I was thinking about it, but I just couldn't. I watched the extras on this disc, but I watched the disc that was part of that Bava box set, and that's a great transfer. That's a damn good transfer for 1080p or whatever that is, because it's a refresh one. This Blu-ray's 10 years old, more than 10 years old. It's
the print
it's crazy.
Looks good, but the sound quality on this is awful.
Yeah, but
very
Screen Factory,
and scratchy.
Screen Factory, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I'm just going to state that for the fact people can bitch and complain about them. They do good transfers for stuff like that. This was good for what they did for it. It just has shit for special features on it. You know what I mean? So I would like Arrow, please. Please. You can do this. You can do this. Give me a big box of this film. Give me a big box of this film.
But although this would inspire the American slasher film, the film is less interested in suspense. For one thing, it lacks a central psycho figure.
Yes.
And it does lack a final girl as well, if you think about it.
Yeah, it's a final couple.
So, yeah. But, no, I mean, this wouldn't be my first go-to for if people are watching this and they're thinking about getting into Mario Bava. This is not your go-to first film.
No.
What would you say, Chris, would be your if you had to tell
for Mario Bava go-to film? It has to be Blood and Black Lace. I think that's his most well known. You can say Black. You can say Black Sunday. You can say Black Sunday if you like gothic horror and stuff like that. That's it. That's the one.
I mean, in the
specifically
slasher,
for Italian gothic horror, stuff like that. That's what you go to. But if you're a fan of slashers like I was initially, and then getting introduced because of you gents to Giallo and stuff like that, it's Blood and Black Lace all day, every day. That film's highly rewatchable for me, and it's easy to follow. It's easy to follow. It's a great gateway Giallo, in my opinion. So
I think Black Sunday for sure. If you're just getting into Bava, you want to get into Bava, and you just want
Lauren mentions that too. Yeah,
Giallo wise, I actually think $5 for an August Moon wouldn't be a bad first watch either.
Even his later stuff, like Kill Baby Kill, is a great gothic
film,
it's a great ghost film, and stuff like that too. Lisa and the Devil, of course, that's his last masterpiece. Kind of what Opera is for Dario Argento, Lisa and the Devil is for Mario Bava. It's like it just seemed to hit at the right time. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Another interesting fact, though, right? So Upton only claimed to not have anything to do with the ending. Earlier drafts of the script featured an epilogue in which the little murderers paint the words "Idu Tutti" on the sign, which literally kind of like this big translation is "the bay belongs to everyone," which would have been interesting. Yeah,
that sounds very Fulci-like.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's kind of these quotes you get at the end of these.
Yeah, these quotes. Yeah.
But no, it's a solid. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a solid film. What more can you say? I think it's
absolutely,
really.
It's definitely definitely a good one. Russ is saying hi to you, Darren. He's asking how you doing.
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, yourself? I've got to give this a plug as well. Troy Harris, Mario Bava book.
Yes,
that's a good way to start if you really want to get into.
Yeah, I got his book on Fulci that I need to pick up and start reading. I also have his book on So Sweet, So Perverse.
They're hard to put down, those books, once you start reading.
So it's definitely, like I say, a good a good starting one, great film, and yeah. So we're going to get right into the film that really just is a second film in the horror franchise, my all-time favorite horror franchise. That, of course, is Friday the 13th, Part 2. This bad boy right here. This is considered a lot of people's favorite in the franchise. You're thinking the first film was a huge success. I'm just going to state that for the record real quick. When Friday the 13th came out, it outsold The Shining. Think about that. That film and a few others of that time and stuff like that. It was a special time. And then, you know, we get Friday the 13th Part 2 here, 1982, directed by Steve Miner, who comes from that background, of course, with Sean Cunningham from Last House on the Left, him and all those awesome people as well. Of course, the writers are Ron Kurz, Victor Miller, Sean S. Cunningham. That's just a name only. These two didn't want nothing really to do with this film. They thought it was stupid to bring back the character who they thought was dead. What is he, like a ghost or something like that? Which is just interesting with that. Of course, it stars my favorite all-time final girl, Amy Steele as Ginny, John Fury as Paul, Walt Gorney as Crazy Ralph, Tom McBride as Mark, Bill Randolph as Jeff, Marta Kober as Sandra. Now, Miss Marta was too young. Was too young to do this. She was like, what, 16 or something like that too?
Yeah.
They did have a scene where she was full frontal and stuff like that. No, you can't do that.
There's a lot of controversy over her. Not everyone knows the truth, the whole story to that.
Yeah.
And if you go back and see what she is like in real life now, she become a drug addict.
Yeah.
She does do these.
She's done other films.
Conventions.
Yeah, she's done some other teen films too. Like after this
she
or
looks
before
rough,
this,
man. She does look rough. In this,
she looks
film,
like a tomboy, to tell you the truth. Yeah,
I mean, she she is a stunning young lady in this, but in terms of she was close to like that age range where it's a bit dodgy.
Also, of course, it was returning roles for Adrienne King as Alice and stuff like that. This was the last film she did. She ended up getting a stalker, stuff too in real life, and she just kind of gave up on the film and stuff like that too. It's okay. She's doing okay now. Betsy Palmer,
she's a
of
big
course,
artist, isn't she? She paints a lot. Yeah,
paints a lot. Of course, Betsy Palmer, the late great Betsy Palmer, who dated James Dean for a second, comes back, of course, as Pamela Voorhees. And
she did one day shooting, I think. She just come back for the flashback scene towards the end.
Yes. And then a quick thing from Stuart Charno, who plays the funny character, which is Ted and stuff like that. He's flipping hilarious in this film. Of course, we also have Warrington Gillette as Jason, but the part was mostly done by a stunt actor by the name of Steve Dash. He did mostly everything in this film as Jason Voorhees.
And if you want to go
on, no mistake about that. Yeah, he's the unheralded Jason, which is unfortunate. I think he's gotten his due nowadays, but stuff like that. But yeah, he was that character.
If you want to go on like a rabbit hole, then kind of research them too, because for a long time Steve Dash wasn't on the convention circuit, and Warrington Gillette was claiming to have done all the Jason stuff in the film, which is complete bullshit.
He becomes a reggae rock singer, what have you, and stuff like that. Cool dude. He's a funny guy. He's a funny, cool dude and stuff like that.
The one unmasking scene, wasn't it, when he comes through the window at the end?
He talked about that. He talked about that where, when he goes through at the end and stuff like that, you're supposed to go through that and stuff like that. No, because the wood wasn't correctly done. So he got bounced back there. So he ended up injuring himself. He got cut a couple of times.
Called him a pussy. Steve Dash in his interviews is kind of funny.
Amy Steele, I think, cut him once accidentally and stuff like that too. So there was shenanigans going on here. One of the producers, I think, because they stayed at the cabins there. They stayed at the cabins there, and the cast members, Amy Steele, one of them, go in and scared one of the producers. She fainted.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I mean, there's like a lot too. Also, at the start of this film, as well, is let's see, one of the greatest intros to a slasher of all time, with the kid playing in the water. Then he gets called home by his mom. Oh, mom. Then you see it. Then you see the whatever like that. That's played by a woman.
Itsy
That
bitsy spider.
walking, yeah. So when you see Jason walking, that's played by a woman. The whole walking thing and stuff like that too. That's played by a female. Let's see if I get her name right here because I know I put it down here. Yeah, Ellen Lutter. She was the costume designer. So she plays Jason at the start of that film. Those are just the legs and the feet walking, which I thought was a very cool. Stan Winston almost had a part in this film for practical effects. They asked him to do that. No, he later on to do, other things.
This was originally going to be an anthology as well. Friday the 13th. They wanted to.
Yeah. They didn't want it to be
anthology.
Anthology.
Yeah.
Like the series would later be, which the series would later be. So if you didn't know about that, you're thinking, well, this is maybe their original vision of what the Friday the 13th series became in general and stuff like that.
I think this is so the original film to me is like a masterpiece, right? It's not my favorite Friday the 13th. The original, it's my second favorite. I just love part 5. I know I'm dumb for that, but this is almost like.
Oh, you're not dumb for that.
This is a remake of the original. I think up until a certain point, everything's there. You got the storm. You got the first. A lot of people can say the first campfire tale, which they would later do in another film called. Well, you can say it was released at the same time. Of course, that's The Burning. They do a campfire story there. Man got one as well. Yeah. Exactly the same scene.
Savini can bullshit a lot where he says, well, that was the original idea for Friday. That's why you're not a director, sir. That's why you can't direct worth a shit. Hate to put that on one of the greatest, makeup artists of all time. But no, you can't direct worth a shit. So
this was a very successful film. So the budget was $1.25 million. And it made over 21 million.
21, almost 22. Yeah. Almost 22 worldwide. That's insane.
Tagline, the body count continues as well. I love that.
Yeah.
When you see that on the opening credits or like certainly in the trailer. But yeah, you're saying about that first scene. So you've got Alice then. And she's you see the original POV
after.
Of Jason.
Yeah, 6 months after the events of the first film.
It is, yeah. So you've got Alice then. She's having a bad dream about her experiences in the first one. And you kind of get a recap of the original ending then. Alice has moved away. She's become an artist, funny enough, in real life as well. And she receives this like weird, funny silent phone call.
Yeah.
And that's, she's kind of on edge then, obviously.
Yeah, because she gets finished talking to her mom. She talks to her mom first.
Oh, yeah.
That's when she takes the shower and she hears the phone ring again. And then figures out nobody's there.
Going back to this, and I've not watched this for a long time, and you see all the jump scares and shit like now. It's kind of,
This is the greatest. This is the best jump scare. One of the best jump scare sequences of all time.
With the cat. Yeah.
Seriously, it's very good.
Now that like the slasher films, don't get me wrong, there's some I absolutely freaking love even now, but they don't do it for me like they used to.
Right. Yeah, no, you're right.
Some of these,
Yeah, a lot of them.
This one stayed on level. This one stayed about the same, but some of them I'll go back and watch and they won't quite do it for me. Very formulaic, this film as well, with the jump scares every 5-10 minutes or what have you.
That's what happens when you watch as much as we have.
I was going to say, yeah. And I'm at a point with these films now where I haven't completely blew my load with them. Whereas Nightmare on Elm Street, I just can't go back and watch them. I've just done it to death.
Isn't that crazy to think?
Halloweens.
It's that way with Dirt too. He's watched these films so many times too, and you want to try something new, right? Something that's different. And so I totally understand that.
Yeah, I mean, these are the ones I can go back to, and I don't get kind of tired of them. To be honest.
Oh yeah, they define the decade in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just that scene where she turns and what's coming. I've seen it many times, but the cat basically scares the bejesus out of her. She decides to go to the refrigerator to get some milk. What's coming. Opens up, you see the head in there and stuff like that. And that's a great kill, which is a trip. He just grabs her and takes that. I think it's an ice pick and just goes.
It's an ice pick, yeah.
And just takes the coffee pot off. He's smart enough to take the coffee pot off of the stove because it hides her screams. And
I mean, you've got kind of in that scene as well, it's like you say, it's coming, but you love it when it does kind of happen. She just become stalked, didn't she? But she had this mad stalker, and she just didn't want to carry on in films after that. You've got you've got the kind of 5 years later there, and you've got the crazy Ralph character that comes back, which is good. I always find, he's not in it for long, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was good to see Walt Gurney. And he tells Jeff, you've got Jeff and Sandra, two of the young teenagers type thing. They're going to become counselors, and they at this big.
Yeah, it's a teaching facility. It's a teaching facility to teach counselor. This was filmed in Camp Kenwood, Kent, Connecticut, USA. So a little different place. So basically, the place is called Packanack Lodge. So it's near Crystal Lake. Like, there's a sign that's been knocked over, which I think is a little cheap. They couldn't use the original yellow one for some damn reason, so they have a small one that his girlfriend finds.
Right. So you've got Camp Crystal Lakes is literally just across the ways.
Camp Blood.
Camp Blood, yeah, actually. But you've got the early kind of funny stuff I could do with the tow truck. You've got the prank that they play with a tow truck on these two.
Right. They just bring him all the way because he's like really close. Because when he's talking to him and he says, "Oh, hi," and stuff like that, just going to go to this place to begin with.
And that introduces us to the Ted character, Stu Chano. Who, what the fuck happens to him in the film later on? Because he's at the bar and then he's never mentioned again.
Right, because he talks to an old man and says, "Is there any other places open?" He's like, "There sure are." And he does a funny impression, like, "Yeah, sure are."
And again, without jumping the gun, Paul, like, Ginny.
That's what's interesting is
does he survive?
Because Paul and Ginny goes back. They go back.
Yeah.
Everyone else stays there.
In the ambulance, he wakes. Does he survive? Because he's never mentioned either. I don't think he's even mentioned in the sequel.
There was another ending that you didn't see that was planned where it was going to be a little bit different, because like I say, you see, I know we're skipping a beat, it doesn't matter, where that head is somebody that's in a mask with their eyes closed. Now, it's supposed to be her opening her eyes and smiling, which made you think that his character is dead. That his character is dead. This won't be the last time that ending is used in a Friday the 13th film. Of course, of what we got with 3.
But why didn't they go with the opening the eyes at the end? That would have been so cool. Even though
I agree with you, Lauren, the entire film is Ginny. Absolutely. That's why she's my favorite final girl. Amy Steele is very good in her role. I mean, she wanted to do more of the films. Imagine her as the mainstay. There'd be no Tommy Jarvis. I think they would have put her in everything. I mean, she has the wherewithal. She has that tomboyish look to her, of course, like that. She would later go on. She was like a therapist or something like that. Later on, she became in like real life, married to a Marine. God bless her. Great lady.
Beautiful actress, but you do believe that she can kick ass,
Oh, yeah.
She went on to do a film I love as well, April Fool's Day.
Hey, April Fool's Day.
Hit or miss with some of the slack.
She said later that she regretted not doing 3 in these other films and stuff like that, too. She regretted that and stuff. But you don't know at the time. You don't know what's going to kind of happen to this and stuff like that. But that happens with everybody. But that's just an iconic scene with her with the pitchfork. That's an iconic scene where she's sitting there, with this pitchfork up like this, and you see like she's ready to go. So it's really good.
Oh yeah. But yeah, just to go back a little bit. So Paulie's opening up this school for camp counselors. And it's rumored or Camp Blood is literally just a stone's throw away. But during all this time where the camp counselors get together, there's someone watching. There's always someone watching in the shadows. And I don't know if you want to get the comment actually, Chris.
Well, just real quick, we have Lady Jay Gould in here. Happy days to you as well. I hope you're having a good day and everything. It's great to see you here. I haven't seen her in a while.
Absolutely.
So I think it's really good. First 3 films, all the structure. Yep. Definitely agree with that. This is one we were getting with. Yeah, Ginny's nightmare recollection of the entire events of that final scene is meant to reinforce that the events aren't literal. True, very true.
Yeah,
you just definitely find just great to it's great. Just that's what I love about these films. Being a hardcore fan as I am, just rewatching them and stuff like that, you learn something each time, right? And you learn to deep dive a little bit into them. We're sick like that. That's okay though. It's great stuff. Go ahead, Darren. Continue on.
So then you got the introduction of it, obviously with Ginny as well. She turns up late for the meeting.
And her Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah. We find out she's Paul's secret girlfriend as well, and they're kind of the two running this training center. You got the you mentioned the scene, the campfire story scene always reminds me of the Burning Madman. Paul tells them the legend of Jason Voorhees, the boy who was drowned at Camp.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to you straight about Jason.
And that's
it's still my
in the
number
trailer
one
as well.
It's still my number one. It just is. That's the campfire story that started the campfire stories, which is based off of, if you go by what the Burning does, we'll get to that in a future stream. We'll get to that.
Definitely want to do the Burning.
Yeah, that's based off a legend, a local legend of that area.
The Cropsey legend. Yeah.
Yes, the Cropsey legend. So that, almost like a New Jersey Devil type of a thing, which would work. So you can kind of see that. But yeah, I'm going to give you two straight about Jason and all this other stuff too. Everyone's all cuddled near the campfire and stuff. You get introduced to of course, the dude in the wheelchair who's like a former football player and stuff like that too. Tom McBride, I believe. Yeah, as Mark.
Yeah.
He is a good actor. I think it was a horror comic that somebody did where they put his and his lady interest as those characters in a newer film or something like that too, and stuff like that. They did like in a graphic novel, but I like the chemistry between the two. I thought that was done very well.
And they, apart from Adrian King, was obviously in the first one, and Betsy Palmer. These are all unknowns as well, which is
all unknowns. Yeah, these are likable characters. I like all these guys. You don't really have a jerk. You just have that one horny dude, like when they decide to leave, is like going, yeah, I think I'm going to stay too, type of a thing. But he's still funny when he picks up the dog and he starts dancing with what's her name, Muffin.
Muffin and the dog. Yeah.
Which is another interesting thing with the dog, and we'll get to that too. If the dog is either dead or alive, I have issues with that.
Well, he does show up towards the end, so the dog they see in the forest, I think is
but they do when they decide to they're like, hey, let's go, and the couple decides, hey, let's go to the camp. Yeah, let's go. Okay. That's where they find the dead dog. And it looks a lot like Muffin because Muffin disappears. Yeah, because the very, very beautiful lady in the tank top and stuff like that goes to find him. And it's like right there. And then she gets called back or something happens. So, and they're all having a barbecue.
I have got to mention as well, the look of Jason in this film is definitely been pinched by the town of Dreaded Sundown.
They stated that. They stated that. They say the only difference was the fact that there's only one eye and not two hole in the sack. Yeah, they admitted that totally. Overalls, it's really, it's.
I was going to say, if people have not seen that film, I urgently, if you're a slasher fan, you're doing yourself a misjustice by not watching that. That's superb, which I'm sure will. I think we covered, didn't we, at one point?
Yes, we did.
Actually,
We covered that with Zodiac. Yeah.
So you've got your typical, lots of POV shots, lots of jump scares, and then we get the Crazy Ralph character's death.
Right, so they're all kissing in the thing, and he's right to make him seem kind of bigger, like right behind the scene, just. Hangs him up there and
Garroted,
stuff like that.
Pretty
and
much, but
that's it. So they they killed off legacy characters. So that's one of the first film they do that, where they kill off legacy characters. That's why I separate the first film from everything else, because the rest of the franchise is completely different from the original.
Oh, I just seen what Lorne put there. That's interesting, man.
The ending isn't real. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, because we see that Muffin is dead. That dog is gutted. Very much like Halloween with Michael Myers, you don't see the creature, but it looks like it's a dead dog or something like that. He's been here.
So what part of the film then would you say is maybe her dreaming? Is it or?
I think it's that whole sequence where the dog comes through there and stuff like that. And she's all hugging the dog, and then
I didn't even look at it like that, man. I don't know why I've never looked at it like that.
I know we're spoiling some stuff, but it's all good. Specifically when they pan away from the cabin where Jason's staying at, you see everything's kind of been torn down a bit and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
One of these days I'm going to have to pause it. Maybe her boyfriend's there, where you see some of the dead bodies.
And, look at it
maybe you see that stuff like that, because she's asking for him at the end and stuff like that, and he's not there. So,
okay, that's interesting, man. I don't know why that's kind of bypassed me over the years.
We're all nerds here. We all love it. So thank you all for tuning in. Hit that like button.
Yeah, absolutely. Go and subscribe to all these people in the chat as well, visited by Voices. I don't know the other channels, but I'm sure they're pretty good as well.
Lauren, you and I have to do a stream together one of these days. Because
I'd love to get Lauren to come on, man.
yeah, his knowledge
Hopefully
is
he's coming
on
on
point.
Yeah, he's coming on Subjective, but like, yeah, ask him. Ask him.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'd
absolutely.
come on. But there, yeah, you've got the Jeff and the Sandra characters as well. They sneak off to Camp Crystal Lake, and they're being followed too. We see they're being followed, and that's where they find the dead carcass body of the dog, don't they? And you get the Deputy Winslow comes into it then a little bit.
That's his name. It just has him, the dude
Jason
playing as the cop wise and stuff like that. They don't kind of state his actual name. Yeah,
So,
Deputy Winslow.
even though we get the point of views and all that early on of Jason, the first time we actually see him, I believe, is when he runs across from the car. When the deputy sees him,
Makes
he
him
runs
stop.
into the woods. Yeah. That, if you split second that, you know, and pause it, you can see the burlap sack and all that. Very great scene. I think the way.
Oh, it's a great scene. Yeah, he's getting
Yeah.
tired just chasing him. That's where he finds the cabin, and you don't see what's behind that door when he goes into the cabin. He goes, and like I say, I was watching this last night. I'm like, oh my god! And you see the back point of the hammer. You know, the claw point of the hammer. Whack. That was that's the uncut version is on the Scream Factory box set. There's an extended scene a little bit with that. I know, so you know, trust me. But it's still good where he's like that, just hits him right in the back of the head. And he's just like,
Yeah, I mean, the one guy, he had like a VHS tape of the unrated gore to this, which is minimal.
Yeah,
I think the ice pick scene at the start is a little bit added to it, I believe.
Yeah.
But
that scene sits there for like a little bit, which I don't mind that because that's a brutal kill. That's just a brutal kill in general.
Then they have to heat the videotape up as well in an oven or something. I was reading, and
they had to do a bunch of stuff, dude. There's a well, of course it is. It's this 30-something-year-old franchise, dude. It's like there's all kinds of stuff that happened with this. It's all in the book, by the way. If you don't have Crystal Lake Memories, get it.
Let me just give that book.
Shameless plug there.
It's kind of windy, this book as well.
Oh yeah, dude.
Every coffee table should have.
It's a beautiful book, yeah.
Yeah. I think you could still
really, if you're a slasher fan, that book is a must. It's general.
A Bible.
It's a must.
Absolutely. And then you've got, so we're up to the point where Paul, like, because they're going to start their training tomorrow, I believe, the counselors, he offers them all, like, you know, we can all go out for the night.
Who wants to go to the local whatever bars up here?
And that's where you get like a bit of a divide where some of them, like I think 5 or 6 of them want to stay back.
Like I said, she's like, I'm staying. He's like going, he all yawns. He's like going, yeah, I'm tired. I think I'll stay too, and stuff like that. And
that's where you get Jeff and Sandra, obviously.
Yeah, Jeff and Sandra. He's like going, yeah, I'm going to stay too. Sandra's she's very pretty. She's very pretty. She's a good actress too. She's done some horror films too after this. So,
yeah, I mean, the drug, like she became addicted to drugs. I mean, that probably had a massive impact on her. But she's done conventions. She seems a nice lady and all that. But she does look very older than her years. Like,
exactly.
But they stay back because of the punishment. They can't go, and then you've got the iconic scene about to come up. But then you've got the skinny dipping scene, right? Terry. Yeah. So obviously, Bay of Blood, exactly. Same premise. And also with the burning, with that scene in the water as well. Those are spread out. Yeah. And there's quite a few slashers that do that.
Yeah.
But someone takes her clothes. It's Scott, I think, kind of a boyfriend or a love interest or what have you. But then you get
he gets hanged up, like
gets caught in a rope trap. Yeah, on the tree. And then you get that great scene there. He gets his throat slit.
She goes like, I should leave you up here, where she goes to get something. That's where you see Jason come up there and kill him and stuff like that too, just like that. These are quick ones too, which I like about this film too. They don't show overly gore anything. They really don't. So this was done whatever like that. It's because Savini was doing the burning when this film was going on. He's like, yeah, I'm good with the franchise. I'll just do something else. He was kind of sporadic like that to begin with. They got some good kills in here.
This is like never boring. I will say that. It's like there's something going on in this literally all the way through, and it's kind of a nice, like 90 minutes. Is there something like that? 87, 88 minutes.
Oh yeah, no, it's a quick one, as all slashers should be.
She gets killed off screen though, doesn't she, Terry?
She does. She sees that he's dead.
She's about to get killed, and then it just completely goes off screen.
Well, first off, she goes to her cabin. The lights are off. She turns on the light, and it just automatically goes out. And then she looks for something. She finds it, but then that's when you just hear the like that, and it just goes on to the bar, I believe.
You've got like that cut is superb as well, where she screams, and then the music band are playing in the back.
Yeah.
Like, next shot.
Yeah, great stuff.
You've got Ginny. Then she gives that speech, doesn't she? She says, "What would happen if Jason's still alive?" You know, she's at the bar. They're talking.
Yeah, they're drinking and stuff like that too.
And Paul
goes,
like,
"That's
"Oh
a
no,
legend.
He's
been 5 years."
Yeah. That's just a legend. That's not true. Like, you got a great kill you mentioned with Mac.
They use the R word. They say there's some R going around. This is not PC, ladies and gentlemen. He's like, you tell me there's some, a grown man child, basically. He never grew up. He watched he had no friends. That's the first time you hear this, right, in this franchise. He had no friends. The only person he had was his mother.
Right. In this one, there's no supernatural element. He's just a
none at
survivalist,
all.
pretty much.
Yeah.
He's surviving in the woods or what have you.
Yeah, he's a survivalist. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's a mountain
which
man.
I like. I do like some of the supernatural stuff. Don't get me wrong, but
oh yeah, me too.
The first two where he's just there's none of that. But you've got the wheelchair kill with Mac, like you said. He's literally his
right because they're playing like those old school handheld games, man. That's great.
Like ice hockey.
You want to play hockey or football, the one with the puck, because she really likes him. Her character really likes him. Finally, they like kiss and stuff like that. She's going to go get ready. That's when it starts, and it happens in these films. It starts raining, and there's Lauren has mentioned this. Lauren has mentioned this in his videos where it starts raining. Yeah, that's when shit starts to hit the fan. He's like, you there and stuff like that, goes out there. He's oblivious. The great camera shot from behind, all of a sudden, boom. And that's from the reverse side of the blade. Yeah. That's from the reverse side of the blade.
Me of that sickle in Bay of Blood.
Yes.
It's kind of similar,
And it's one of the greatest kill shots of all time. Just hitting him, and then he falls down the stairs. Like that. And the camera just goes all the way through like that, and it turns white. And
that wasn't planned at all, right? So they were going to do his kill, but the steps weren't going to be involved. And just because they were on set, and I think maybe Steve Miner at the time said, "Oh yeah, we can use these steps as well." So they did it completely randomly, and it worked. Obviously, it's one of the best kills. People do recognize that.
JT has done his top slasher kills and stuff. He's done videos on that. I'm sure he's mentioned that. That's easily top 10.
Yeah, it's one of the well-known ones for sure, man. But yeah, like you say, you've got the big storm. I love it. It's like the first one as well. That's how you do a slasher with a storm. So you get Jeff and Sandra then, and you got the sex scene mirrored from Bay of Blood. It's completely shot for shot, but it's still great.
It's still good. They're just doing
you see her looking as well.
They're all like happy and stuff like that and all that stuff too. Like I said, there's a scene where she's like on top of him and stuff like that, and she starts taking off her clothes and stuff like that, and it's focused in on him. That's for a reason, because she was underage for that. Originally, they had a cut where she was full frontal. That scene was widened out where you saw like everything, because make no mistake, she has a pair on her, and he's all like smirking about it and all this other stuff too. But like I said, he ends up on top of her and stuff like that, and they're just kind of sleeping and happy. That's when you see the door open, you see him come in there, then she's like like that. I'm like, just great like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Even though like Bay of Blood, I don't know, I wouldn't like to say which is the best. They're both great. What about the controversy with Steve Miner? Because there's a long time he wouldn't even talk about this or do interviews, and no, I don't think no one's got to the bottom of that. I don't know if it's got anything to do with that Marta Kober girl, the young girl, but I know I've seen him. He has come out recently and started.
Oh, it's like
talking
with
about it.
Eyes of the Stranger with Jennifer Jason Leigh. She just got of
I
age when
love
they
that
decided
film.
to cast
Yeah.
her because she was 17 at the time. Of course, then they cast her when she turned 18. So it was like kind of perfect timing for that, you know?
Yeah, maybe
Is that-
I don't know if something went on in filming or during filming or anything. It's possible, but I mean, I'll be speculating.
I don't
But
think why you think
something
nothing
happened.
of it. People were doing this in films all the time back in the day. So it's like, you know, if she had no issue with it, then wouldn't be.
I mean, yeah, I mean, nowadays you couldn't do it, obviously. So you get Paul and Ginny, then they head back from the bar, and that's where you get a great sequence where it's just absolutely teeming down with rain, and they go into their vehicle.
Russell mentioned something here real quick. So killed during a stunt. Killed during a stunt in a helicopter for Airwolf. I guess 23 years old. Who are you talking about there, Russell? Real quick, if you just put that in the chat. I'm just wondering about that.
So what I always say is Claudio Casanelli got killed, didn't he?
Yes,
and
Claudio
then
Casanelli.
You've got the Twilight Zone as well.
Was it Hands of Stone or something like that? Or
But you was on about Jennifer Jason Leigh. Her father got killed in
right. That was
Zone.
the Vic Morrow. That was the Twilight Zone film. Yeah,
I know Lorne's got very kind of. We spoke a lot about that, and he's got his views on that, and I kind of mirror them in a way. But I still watch his films. I still love American Werewolf. But
I hate to kind of say it, people think of it as a hot take. You separate art from the artist. It's the same thing. A lot of people think Roman Polanski's a scumbag. You just separate the art from the artist. So yeah.
I mean, Landis was a piece of shit, man, for doing that.
Yeah, Landis. Yeah, of course. Who is in jail.
Jumping on a tangent, but So you get Teddy stays on at the back. A man in the burlap sack. Jason then jumps up. He kills Vicky with a kitchen knife.
That's a great scene too because she's back there. The door is locked, and you see
all the bodies in the
kitchen knife go. Yeah. You see him hanging there right next to her. You see him all hanging up there and stuff like that. That's very Giallo-like, which is a trip. You see the hand, and you see it get closer to him, and then just like wham, like that, And I'm like,
and where they're all the bodies are kind of hanging up in the background. $5 from August Moon, Bava did that, and Bay of Blood, obviously. But
exactly,
that's where the influence comes. But so Paul and Ginny then, they kind of go back to the camp, and so there's two because they go back. I think she ends up back in the shack, doesn't she, towards the end? But don't they go back to
They go back to because they're wondering where everyone's at. They go back.
Yeah, they go back to the camp.
To the shack. They go
where she's under the bed and shit. Yeah,
where they go to the bedroom and stuff like that. They see a lot of blood there, but nobody's there. You just see all the blood in the bed. It's like, what happened here? That's when
that's where you get the pitchfork kind of chase, don't you?
Yeah,
chasing her with
I think he goes through the. It's one of the times he goes through the window, but yeah, he just shows up and stuff like that and like injures him. That's when the chase kind of starts there. There's great like cat and mouse scenes in here too, where she like hides behind one of the bushes.
Chase, right the way to the end. Then
she hides behind the car and stuff like that, and he happens to go, and then he stops, and then he leaves, and then she goes behind the bush and stuff like that, and she's just waiting for him to come up there so she can just like hit him in the nuts, basically, and just like.
So I gotta ask you the question, right? Did she piss under the bed, or was it the rat?
Oh, it's her. That would be funny if that was the case, but I remember that, like seeing that scene and stuff like that. It's like, oh shit, she's scared shitless.
I think it's her, as well. But I know a lot of people like debate that
because he turns because he's in the cabin while she's under the bed, and he turns for a second, then he leaves. I'm like. Wow, it's a trip.
This is where the film does just gets miles and miles kind of better as it goes on for me. Because once you get that cat and mouse chase, it's probably one of the best kind of final girls.
That's why she's my favorite final girl, period. She just is very resourceful. She's very resourceful. She's not stupid. Far from it. She puts up a great fight, She puts Paul in his place like a lot of times and stuff like that too. But then she's not afraid to get down and dirty with it, Yeah.
She's not just a pretty face. She get, with the chainsaw as well. She uses the chainsaw early on in the film too.
That's right. She does to like like she finds it and stuff like that. She ends up getting in because she's like in a bathroom or somewhere like that too, and he goes through the window and stuff like that. So she leaves,
Yeah,
she gets the chainsaw, and then she just goes yeah, like that.
But yeah, so she's like, she
Takes
smacks
the
Jason
chair and
over the
does a
head,
WWE old school move and just goes whack,
whacked over
and
the
like
head,
hits
yeah.
him.
But that's where you see all the kind of the mother's head and get all the dead bodies and kind of the
Right.
shrine.
Go back to the cabin and stuff like that. She sees the mother's head. She hears him coming in there. You see the sweater right next to her and stuff like that. So he kept everything, her head, the sweater, and you're like, where's the body at? She puts the sweater on. Boy, she's ready to go, man. She's thinking hardcore for this and stuff like that.
That is a great
she goes,
kind of
Jason.
Yeah, great
Jason.
scene.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some good writing, I think, towards the end, you know, just to put that in. And I think I've seen it been done since, like, people have
It's like,
copied it.
mommy is pleased. He's like, mommy has a present for you. And that's where he gets down on his one knee and stuff like that. And that's when he does the head turn thing for the first time.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
like this. That's where he sees her. He sees his mom's head there. It's like, Jason, mommy is pleased and stuff like that, getting ready to whatever like that. That's when he gets up, figures out what's going on. That's when Paul comes in there and
They start
starts
Jason.
getting him on him like on top and stuff like that too. He's getting ready to kill him. I think he has like the machete or something like that in his hand, getting ready to do that. And that's a great like just with the first film, it's a slow burn, slow motion type of thing. He's just reading out and she just cleaves him right through the shoulder. So whack like that. And that's a great scene where it stops for a second, where he just and he turns and then down just like that.
Yeah, and obviously the big question is, she killed him. But
and she takes off the mask and stuff like that, and he's about ready to stop her, and she's like, F it.
Because they don't show you, do they?
No, they don't. That's what I like about that.
You
You think it's a good slow burn type of a thing where she starts pulling out the mask. Like, if you're seeing this for the first time, are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? Nope.
But we do get to see, like,
that's where she says,
the next sequence.
Oh God. They literally go back the same way the sheriff did. You know, like he carries her back and all this other stuff too. And
so is this
there?
Is this where the nightmare starts? Is it where she's?
I think it is. They're like, say they're in the cabin. They hear scratching or something outside the door. They're wondering what's going on. That's where she picks up the pitchfork. She's just like that. And she's like, okay, open the door. That's when the dog comes in, like, oh, Muffin, and all coming, and that's when that's an iconic scene too, where it's like, come on, come here, and stuff like that too. You see the dog coming and stuff. That's where you see Mr. Voorhees go through the window for the right time this time, and basically drag her out. That's where the way the scene looks like he's about ready to drag her out. That's right.
I mean,
she wakes up.
It makes more sense now that is a dream, to be honest.
Yeah, she wakes up and she's asking where Paul's at or whatever's like that. She goes into the ambulance and she veers, the ambulance veers off, and that's where it goes back into the cabin, which is basically destroyed because some stuff has fallen from there and stuff like that too. There's boards all over the place, and you just see the face of Pamela Voorhees, that thing where there's a head in there with its eyes closed because they're going to do something else before that. And that's when the film ends. We get the credits, which is very fast credits too for this time, which is about right. You didn't have these credits that lasted for like 30 damn minutes that come through there.
But why didn't they do the open the eyes at the end, man? That would have been so great.
Well, the whole idea was like them opening the eyes and then having her smile and stuff like that. I thought it would have been too corny for it, to tell you the truth. That's what the producers and people said.
Film. Yeah, I mean, they could have just discarded that in the next one anyway. But
right,
I mean, it just, to me, it feels like an anticlimax where she just, the eyes don't.
You can say they did that later in the first Child's Play film, where it's just Chucky's burnt head, and he goes, "Hi, I'm Chucky. You want to play?" Where it just goes to like the doll's voice and stuff like that too. So, but yeah, it's like say some scenes for certain stuff was used.
I've never been a big Child's Play. Are you a big Child's Play fan? Like,
I love the first film a lot. It's just something different
I
about
don't
it.
even like the first one. I don't think
The other
I
two
don't
were
mind
fun
it,
and
no.
stuff like that too. I think if
Part
it's
2
more
is
as
my
a
favorite.
character, I think of the first one more of a character study. Specifically the fact of the woman that's playing the mom, because they're thinking the child's doing it and stuff like that. And she goes up to Andy and they're like, Andy, they're going to take you away from me because it's just her and him, you know? And I feel that pain. I
didn't
couldn't
even see it
imagine
as
what
a
that would be
slasher,
like.
the first one. I don't really see it. Like the second one, I think is like my
Yeah,
favorite.
because that was more
Corny,
Savini's
goofy.
influence.
Yeah.
That was more Savini's
Um,
influence, where the first one was Tom Holland's influence.
Yeah, I mean, I like parts of the third one with I think it's like a fair or a carnival or whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah, the
that's
third
just a
one was
little
when,
bit of it.
yeah, he's all kind of grown up wise in the
He's a
military
cadet or
academy.
something, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a cadet. Yeah. So,
After that, they're pretty, yeah.
like I
I haven't
say,
seen most of the sequels
yeah.
after that.
But like I say, yeah, part 2, like I say, you know, it's an all-time kind of great one. It's highly rewatchable slasher. Like I say, this is a lot of people's favorites and stuff like that as well. Like you say, Darren, the budget was 1.250, you know, 1,250,000 worldwide, 21,723,464. At the start of the spoof slasher Student Bodies, they say that every film, every slasher released at this time, during this time, was literally a blockbuster. Like, you did not lose money because people would flock to the theater to see these. This is one of many from the year of 1981.
Man, it's the golden year, I think.
It is the golden year.
Yeah.
So this gets a solid 9 out of 10 for me. It always has been. It always will be.
I'm still at an 8. It probably would have been a 9 a good few years back.
Yeah.
But going back, it's kind of almost stayed level. It's not as good. I don't rate it as good as Bay of Blood, because I think Bay of Blood is like, if I had to go back to the 2, I'd rather pick Bay of Blood, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, it's not far behind, like 8.5 Bay of Blood was. So, but it's in my top 5 Friday films. But yeah, I mean, the first one I think is the best made one. I think it's by far the
easily
a film. But this is great. This is great.
Yeah, I'd like to say Steve Miner, and just like say good, you could say directorial debut by him and what have you. Like I say, really just the start of a horror icon, really, in Jason Voorhees. Like I say, there's original plans for this not to be more of an anthology type of a film series. I'm glad we got what we got. I'm glad we got what you got, because trust me, there's a lot of these different ones to come. I like all the films in the Paramount tapes. Each one is different. That's why I love them all for what they are. Each one is different, has its own little spice to it. I always like that about that, considering too the directors. Each director is different for the most part. But
if I had to say about the whole series, I go up to part 8. After that, I'm like, I've obviously watched every single one, but
yeah,
I mean, if you're talking Friday the 13th series, to me, it's just the Paramount films. Like,
right, the Paramount tapes, as Christian has called them. Yeah, the Paramount tapes, definitely.
I mean, I can't get into anything after that, really. I know Lorne's a big fan of Jason X. I want to love that film. I'm going to go back.
It's grown on me. It's grown on me. It's grown on me, probably because it's more of a slasher film than Jason Goes to Hell is. Probably wise.
That's more like The Hidden. Jack Shoulders, The Hidden in '87, similar. The remake I don't particularly like.
That's too bad. That's one of the better remakes. I saw it in the theater. I actually like that a lot. That's more of a tactical one
Jason,
too.
I'm not a big fan of either. But yeah, I mean, I would have been happy if we got more of the TV series. We only got 2 series of that. I used to like that a lot. But yeah, I mean, first 8 for me all day long. I love something in all those first 8. Yeah. I can't say that for the others. Yeah. But there is little bits in certain ones of the later ones I do kind of enjoy, but not as a whole.
Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. Like I say, all the colors of this is a great versus idea. Like I say, different take. We both love these films for what they are, but like I said, I'm thinking, Darren likes this one more than this one. I love them both equally, but like I said, what I am and stuff like that, what I love. I just put this over this a little bit, but you can't go wrong with either of these. And like I say, without this, you wouldn't have this right here. So, I mean,
I'm
it's a
thinking
great.
we could do another one because I have run it by Dirk about doing Madman versus the Burning, but I don't think he wants to do that. But I mean, we could do it on here if you want down the
Yeah,
line.
but like I
That'd be
said, this
good.
was the whole idea of putting a Giallo with a slasher and why we love them so much. And I think we've done a great job here describing why we love both these films so much, because like I say, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. You can't get much better than these two films, and a great first episode of All the Colors of course, and Bay
I'm
of Blood
thinking
versus Friday the 13th Part 2.
one we talking about maybe another episode being Night School
Yes.
against, say, either What Have You Done to Your Daughters or Stripping You for Your Killer.
Yeah,
That would be good. Even maybe
absolutely.
doing the three of them in the verses as well. That'd be fun as well.
Oh yeah, there's a lot we can
I want to
definitely
definitely
dive
talk
into.
about Night School because I do love that film.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll definitely be a future one. Darren, what do you have going on in the next couple weeks and stuff on you and Dirk's channel, and what
Right,
y'all
yeah,
doing on these
so
other platforms?
Sunday we've got a retrospect on The Hitcher. Then we're going to do the full review of the film, obviously, but that second sight release, we got Anthony's Horror and More and Pop's Movie Dungeon coming on as well. So yeah, really stoked for that. The week after, I mean, I'll say the week after just in case we don't do a show before. We're going to be doing the Beyond, the new set that come out with that, with the different isolated score and all that.
Very nice.
Hopefully we can get Johnny on, but we don't always, depending on if you got the time to
It's
do
a
it.
schedule. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Perfect. As for me, I posted on my channel almost up to 300 subscribers. I'd like to thank everybody. Very humble. Black Gloves one here. Really appreciate it. Thank you all for supporting me and staying with me through all this thing. It's all good. Just having a fun time just doing this stuff. We have great ideas, man. And this was a great stream. I'm very happy this went well. And we both showed our love for these genres that we love so much. Next Slasher Saturday is going to be Iced. Like I say, I'm going to take care of that on Saturday. Then Giallo Wednesday is back next Wednesday. That's going to be a white dress for Marielle. So stay tuned for that one as well. Then, of course, we have the podcast. Me and Darren are doing Black Glove podcast as well. Expect that one in the future as well. Great stuff on this channel and his channel that he's doing with Dirk, and all these great channels. Great stuff coming ahead. Definitely expect future witching hours as well. I just picked some film I'd like to watch and just have people come watch along with me and BS and have a good time with that. So much love as always. I really appreciate all the support and great stuff. I am Chris C. I am the Black Glove Reviewed one. That, of course, is Darren from Subjective Perspective Collective. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just saying, don't go to secluded cabins. Don't go to any place that's called Camp Crystal Lake. You see the sign, definitely stay clear of that, because the Black Gloved one is out there. You ladies and gents, y'all take care. I'll see you on Disneyland. Take care, everybody.